camped out last night on our local river spot. It's absolutely beautiful out here. It's already starting to warm up a fair bit. But I thought this morning, what I did is I brought basically my whole camping setup out. And I thought this morning I'd run through our whole camp setup in detail that we use when we travel on the road. You know, Victorian High Country, Cape York, all different places we go. Starting with the fire pit and chair setup. These are the Drifter Stockton chairs. I got these ones because they're lightweight. They're only about 2.5 kilos each. And then they're quite comfy and they fold back. Probably the only thing of these is they don't have a cup holder. That's probably the only con of them. Other than that, they're lightweight, comfy, and easy to set up and pack up. The fire pit, this is probably my most asked about thing. This is all from Drifter again. Fire pit, it's got that little grate on the top at the moment. You can just take that off and have the fire pit. And then you got this bit that goes on top. It makes it really good when you want to cook things on there. Sit your fry pan on there and cook toast. This thing's really light. It's just a little aluminium fire pit table that sits around it, which I find it good for having kids around because it helps keep a bit of a barrier. And it's really good for just sitting things on as you're cooking or eating and that. As long as you don't have your fire massive, then they don't get too hot sitting there. And then apart from this outside table, the whole thing packs up inside this one bag. It's nice flat pack. There is a bit of weight to it. You'd maybe, it's probably like, you'd have to look up on the website. I feel like it'd be around 10 kilos, definitely a bit of weight to it because it's a solid stainless steel fire pit, I assume it is. So that's probably the only downfall of them carrying that bit of weight. But I love having the fire up, that bit of height, nice compact space there to have a fire. It saves leaving fire pits everywhere you go and burning off the ground, like burning patches of ground everywhere. So good for cooking on. And then underneath it's got the base plate, which you'll need to give it that bit of height so that it then sits up above this. Chainsaw, I've got an electric chainsaw now, which I upgraded to recently, which is so much better than the petrol one because I've got inverter and that, so I can charge the batteries on the go, but I find that they last a few days of wood collection anyway, and you don't have to carry petrol around with you. They work just as well as the petrol ones if you got a nice sharp blade on them. Not as noisy and quick and easy to use. You're not revving and roaring trying to start them up. Then for keeping the firewood in, I just keep them in these Tyler Thompson / Respect the Bush bags. Normally fill a couple of these up on the way to camp, chuck them in the canopy. This is an alley box, which I keep in the canopy, but often grab out at camp because it's another good little chair table to have around next to the fire. You can stand on it as you need to use as like a stool. And I keep a heap of gear in here as well. Solar portable showers. Got a Uniflame frying pan here, which you can cook with on the fire. So you need to do a little stir fry or some eggs or whatever. Got a few spare parts in here. Toilet paper, spare gas cookers. Little gas cooker I use. Most often cook either the fire or the gas cooker. Just a little like $20 one from Anaconda that I've had for a few years now, but it always works well. And same with this table. I don't even know, Spinifex is the brand of that. That's from Anaconda as well. Awning is a Drifter Stockton awning. Third awning I've had. I had a King's one, a Ironman one, and a Drifter one. The other two broke. This one hasn't broken yet, so hopefully it stays that way. And for light, they've got one of these little LED strip light from 4-wheel drive, Supercenter, Kings, whatever they are. It's just a little plug-in one that then gives a little bit of light at camp of night when you're getting around. I do want to get some better lighting though. That's probably on the list of future upgrades. Fridge, another one of my super commonly asked questions. I did do a little review on this in another video. It is a Bushman's 85 litre and it's probably one of my favourite upgrades I've done to this whole setup. I just love it. Stand up fridge, open it up, you got your stuff in the door there. You got a little freezer up the top, so normally keep some icy poles, some frozen things in there. I find I've bought these containers which came from Kmart and Big W, and they just keep it all nice and safe and secure in there, and I've had it on every nightmare possible angle track that you can imagine, and it all seems to stay in there nice and good. Keeps it cool and doesn't use too much power. So yeah, that's sort of the perfect fridge. And as I've said before, it's much better than a chest fridge where you have to pull it out on a drop down slide and that, which is a whole heap more weight. It's just so easy to access for everyone. They're only 22 kilos. This is my kitchen drawer next to the fridge, and it's got a little slide out table on it as well, so obviously this all slides back in. And then in here I just keep all my cutlery, plates. I don't drink coffee, but Demi does. Has a AeroPress little coffee machine there, so you can make coffee on the go. A billy.
Someone needs to reorganize that.
Yeah, it's hard to keep it in nice and clean in there. This is by G-Works, the same guys who made the tray and canopy. 1200 long the canopy and 1650 long the tray. Works perfectly for the 4-wheel driving camping that I do, and it means I can just leave it packed, locked, all the time, ready to go, and out of water, dust, weather. Yeah, I love this setup over the tub. I don't really have any complaints or regrets going it. I've left this side of the canopy open, as in there's no drawers or dividing sections or anything here, because that way I can fit big items in if I need and set it up how I want. It's a bit messy at the moment because I've pulled everything out, but normally the alley box sits there, chairs in behind it. A few other things: induction cooktop that I can run off my inverter and dual battery system. I'll show a bit later. I don't use it that often. It does use a fair bit of power, but it's really good in cold conditions or windy conditions, because gas doesn't work very well in that environment. So I do use that from time to time. Little fan here from Drifter. Got LED, so it takes up to 10. I find this lasts a few nights before you have to recharge it. It's just USB fan and LED light. Maybe I'll put this on you while you're filming.
Yeah, I'm like, why didn't you not tell me
You
about
want it?
that? Yeah, thanks.
And you fan yourself in the background. A few of these drawer bags that I keep various little items in the canopy in the back there. I do have quite a bit of stuff from Drifter because I do a fair bit of work with them, so I've ended up with a decent amount of their camping gear, and I really like it as well. Another little nifty item which I keep in here is a jump start. Obviously you need to jump start your car because I'm on my own a lot of the time. It's got a heap of USB charging points on it, so I'll take it up to the 10 of a night if I need to charge my phone or something, or you know, whatever it be, up there with me on the go. Dirty clothes bag. This is a crash pad one. It's got a PVC lining, so it keeps it waterproof. So yeah, I always use that for my dirty clothes and towels and that when we're away. In this bag I got the hoses and pump to fill up my water tank on the go. So basically I can sit that in a creek, plug it in, and fill up the water tank, well, I don't know what that means. Just means I got water.
Just means I have water.
Just means I got water. But yeah, that's how I fill up the water tank in the car. So it goes in this side, so that's your inlet tap on that side. And then let's go around the other side and I'll show the outlet tap. And this is the outlet tap on the other side. Turn it on, the pump in underneath kicks in, and that's a 40-litre water tank. And it's also got a main switch under there if I need to turn that pump on or off. A couple of other handy items. I keep a few things stashed in here behind, next to the fridge. This fridge has got a surround, aluminium surround to keep it protected, but fire lighters, these are from Bunnings. Always use them to get the fire started of a morning or night. Another good one which I always have with us, Jaffa line. I find that's always a good dinner to have on the road. Toasted sandwiches with cheese. So I got that 40 litres of water, and then in here in the jerry can holder I got another 20 litre water drum, so that gives me 60 litres that I've pretty much always got with me. And then over this side I'll carry a spare 20 litres of diesel. So this car has an 8 litre fuel tank, 20 litres, that gives me 100 litres of diesel on the road. And then I can take extra jerry cans if we're doing, you know, some sort of longer distance trip where we're a long way from fuel stations. Obviously got a spare wheel up the back, and then hanging off that, rubbish bag. So I just keep rubbish in there, even chuck a few bits of firewood or a bit of dirty recovery gear in there. And then the sleep setup, Wildlands 1.2 hard shell aluminium, blah 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 blah. It's just a rooftop tent. Maybe we could have just said that. But it's the 1.2 Wildlands one. I won't go into too much detail on a rooftop tent because I've done a separate video on this, but I love this up here and the fact that it's always on the car ready to go. So it fits 2 people nicely, 2 pillows up the end. Sleeping setup, which I've used for years now, is the crash pad double sleep system, sort of 2 big comfy sleeping bags. Then you got the sheets under here too. I've got the mattress upgrade in this, so it's a nice thick comfy 100mm eggshell mattress. Because I got the bigger mattress, you can't pack it up with bedding in here. It's probably one of the downfalls of it. I'll leave the sheets in, but I'll take the pillows and doonas out, chuck them in the canopy, not a big deal. It's got a LED strip light up here to give us light overnight. And then we'll bring that fan up here too when it's hotter if you need a bit of extra light. These rear toolboxes, both sides, just got recovery gear in them. This is actually a shower tent slash change room, which I never really take it with me, but I just put it on for this video. It's got these little quick release brackets on it. So this is a front runner roof rack. So then you can take it on and off, and I just leave it at home when I don't use it, which is most of the time, because I don't know. For showering slash keeping clean on the road, we just have streams in rivers. That's what I always do. I really like doing that. But this is here if I need it, so you fold it out and then you got a nice little shower set up here. And then you can use that solar shower thing I had before. Behind my seat I got one of these MSA seat holder back things. What are they called? Don't know, doesn't matter. But got a heap of head torches, Nebo head torches, flashlights. I got a couple of big O-light flashlights as well. Tire deflators, wet wipes, handheld radio, spare batteries, deodorant, bug sprays down there, just all different variety of things you use. More bug spray that you need, nice and easy to access when you're away. Now I pulled the back seat out just for this video to show the whole dual battery system, otherwise you can't see it. Obviously the back seat sits here and then it's tucked in behind that. Actually on the back seat, normally I'll keep a couple of plastic containers with our food, so that's where our food goes. And then over this side I'll have a bag with my clothes and my laptop, and I'll keep all my camera gear in here too, because normally it's only 2 of us on the trips. And then if there's a third person, like if it's myself, Kai and Demi, then we can shuffle things around and have the back seat too. For the dual battery system though, which obviously is pretty important for me for keeping all my camera gear charged on the road, charging the fridge and then phones and laptops. I did have a kick-ass battery in here before, but it wasn't really enough power, so I changed over to a lithium setup. So that's a 100 amp hour slimline lithium battery. The gear that runs it is Victron gear. So you got the Victron solar charger, solar connector, adapter thing, whatever it is. Charging up via the blanket now, I'll show that in a sec. 30 amp hour DC to DC charger. A bit messy, but it's all tucked away behind the seat, so it doesn't matter. In this box here is it's like your big control center slash box. I won't open it up, but all my fuses, the connections for my phone so I can Bluetooth it all, and everything all runs through that. And that sits in these panels under the seat, so you don't actually have to lift the whole seat out to access them. You just flip the front bit up and then you can get in there to change fuses and that if you need to. 2000 watt inverter, but you need to use actual power points. The good thing about where it is, I haven't properly set it up. I like it here because it's so easy to just charge stuff when I'm like, grab my drone battery, I'm using my drones, my camera, all that in the front. I can just whack it on charge here rather than it being in the canopy. I haven't properly set it up here because that way you can move it. So we just did Cape York in the telly track, and a couple of times I lifted it up and sat it up here, so that way you know it's not going to get wet down there. And then this is how I monitor all the dual battery setup. So you can see I got my battery, that's like the master override for the whole thing, so I can turn it on and off. Inverter, DC, DC solar. So at any times it connects up via Bluetooth. Obviously if you're standing near it, you can see how much power you got, how much you're using, how long it's going to last. Mine says infinity at the moment, or infinite, because I got the solar running, so it's putting in as much power as it's drawing back out. But yeah, it's really good for monitoring your whole setup. And this is a solar blanket out here now in the sun charging up. It's only lightweight, like I don't know what they are, probably about 5 kilos, folds up into a flat pack. You basically just pull that cord out from your dual battery system behind the back seat and it plugs in there via Anderson plug. This whole setup was done by Safari. So this is a Safari blanket, Safari battery, and then that box is made by Safari. And then the components to go with it, like the inverter, DC, and solar, are Victron ones. But yeah, I've loved this whole setup. It's definitely the best dual battery system I've had, and I really think it's worth the money for the lithium. It charges so much quicker and you get so much more out of it. I don't commonly take the blanket with me most of the time because we're moving nearly every night, and I find that my dual battery will last me 2 to 3 nights when I'm set up. I think that runs through most things in my camp setup. Hopefully I haven't forgotten too much. I also just realized that I accidentally had a problem with the audio a little bit over halfway through that video. It went quiet, so I'll try to turn it back up in editing, but hopefully that's not too painful. Sorry about that. I really like this setup I'm using now. It comes from maybe about 6 years camping that I've sort of built and changed and added to this setup that is good for what I do, which is not going to a place and just setting up for ages. It survives me for a long time on the road because we often spend, you know, weeks on the road, but we're always changing locations night to night. So there's not too much there I need to do. The rooftop tent only takes a minute to set up, and then you can just pull out your drawers, open up your canopy, you got a fridge there, fire pit's another few minutes, grab your chair and table out, and then you can set the awning up if need be. You know, it's a 10-minute really to get it all done. And it's not a massive amount of weight or extra accessories or anything that are gonna impact me on all this tough full driving and tracks we do. One other thing I really like about it is, I kind of mentioned it out the video, but I've always got it set up and ready to go. Like the rooftop tent is always on there, the fridge is always plugged in and running. I've always got most of my camping gear in the canopy. It's basically grab some clothes, some food, a couple of pillows for the rooftop tent, and then you can head off. So when you want to go away for a weekend, you're not worrying about spending an hour or two trying to pack and make sure you have everything and organize it all. You just throw a few things in and off you go. If you got any questions, let me know and I'll try and get back to as many as I can. Or if you got any good ideas of things I should add to my setup, then feel free to let me know that as well. We're going to pack all this up and head home. There it is, all packed up, ready to explore the tracks. Here's this side. As I said, it gets a bit messy over here and I put extra in to film this video. Normally I don't really have all this stuff on top, but there's your alley box chairs, you got your bags down in behind there, table, fire pit, chainsaw, sort of all got a little bit of a spot in there, and then, you know, you can easily grab the chainsaw and chairs and stuff out if you need to pull up during the day. And then over this side you got your kitchen drawer and table tucked away, fridge, you got your axe and saws and fire starters and a few bits of piece down in there. There's actually some 12-volt charging stuff up there too, which I didn't say before, a couple of USB points and 12-volt outlets. Stack my bedding up on top of the drawer there to make the most of that height. That's the good thing about the canopy, you can sort of put the lighter stuff, stack it up on top. Rooftop tent and awning both packed away up there. And then my back seat always ends up a bit messy, but you got your inverter and that's where I put all my charging stuff. Camera bag, pillows, or I might put them in the canopy. I normally have, I just got like a snack box because I'm only out for the night. Got a snack box here, but normally I'll stack a couple of food boxes, and then I'll have my clothes bag and that over the other side. And that's it, all done. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
What do I say?
My girlfriend's burning hot, so we need to hurry this up.
Hurry up there, Case. Hey guys, we're camped out here. Do I say hey guys?
You say hi guys every other time.
Not normally.
Oh, shut up. It's like
Sometimes.
it's the word that you say.
Camped out here on... We're camped out here... Nah.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's your master, as I said, where you can just hit the cancel. Don't need to pair that. Okay, forget that bit. No, here we go. We're coming in. Pair. Don't need a code. Yep. Yeah, need to update it. I think that runs through just about most things though. I really like this setup, and I really like this setup now. It sort of comes from, I really like this setup I'm using now. It comes from maybe,
yes, inside of these clothes I know there's no surrender. All this time